Hey everybody, Cheryl Kane here. I did a vulnerable thing yesterday, and let me tell you what, vulnerability hangovers are quite real. I suppose we are actually streaming here, so I'm glad you've caught up with me here today. I I want to take this opportunity to share some reflections on what I call musings on what I did yesterday, why it's important, and more importantly, what this experience that I'm having and what these insights and reflections, how you might be able to take them and apply them in your life. And so, my channel here is really about sharing my journey and bringing forth, kind of what, if we think about, coal being turned into a diamond under pressure, right? It's kind of that thing. What are the gems that come out of the experience that I'm having as a 60-year-old woman traveling and living a nomadic life alone, currently in South America, who is also connecting to the mystic in me, right? As part of her spiritual journey, as well as reclaiming her voice and through her music. So that's what I want to talk to you about today, because yesterday I was a really big deal. And I have some notes here. This is my first kind of just spontaneous live stream on YouTube, and it actually took some prep work to get us here. So I appreciate you hanging out with me for a little bit. So yesterday was the 82nd birthday of a singer-songwriter by the name of Kate Wolf, who touched the hearts of many and left this earth way too soon. She passed away in 1986 at the age of 44. And she was really integral in my music journey and had a big influence on me. And part of the work that I'm doing in my life right now is to reclaim my voice. I lost my voice at the age of 14, and it was something that was intrinsically a part of who I am. And so I wanted to share with you, here's the thing that I did. And, well, I thought this was going to work. Let me see. That's not coming up. What happens? She started playing, and I don't know at what point it was. I don't know what song it was. Well, even. I had big plans. I was going to share with you some excerpts. But I've done a gazillion Facebook Lives, so this is all new for me, so thanks for hanging out. Basically, I held what I thought was going to be about a 45 minute concert. It was a combination of sharing, singing and playing guitar, and sharing the songs, some of the songs by Kate Wolf that were very special to me. You might call them my favorite songs. I don't know. They're the ones that were freshest in my mind to play guitar and sing. And then between songs, I wove in stories around my connection with her, her influence on me, and kind of what the significance is. Okay. And what's important to understand here is the reason why I did it. It's just been in the last month or so that I've started to get my voice back. And what I mean by my voice is that oh, I'm sorry, I'm putting my feet on the stand. What I mean by the voice is that intrinsically the voice is simply an impulse. And I believe it's the impulse, like if a flame has a pulse to it, your voice is the pulse, is an impulse that comes from the very pulse of your soul. Okay? And so for me, losing my voice was mean that my soul was just dampened down. And so in the last month, I've been able to slowly start to reclaim it. And I have a bit of a spiritual connection with Kate. She's one of my guides. And part of her message for me, she said, I asked her, I said, Kate, why are you here? And she said, I need you to continue my legacy. And I accepted. And it was a big clearing moment. And So hosting this concert was my way of honoring what Kate Wolf was asking of me as a guide so that I could receive her gift, right? That I could make room inside of me to receive the energy that her spirit, or just what she represents, was offering up to me. And it was amazing. It felt so good to sing the songs despite the fact that my body was going, hey, what are you doing here? It felt really good to share the stories, because the stories I have with her are incredible. And I'll put the link to the replay in the description. And in general, I had a really, really good time. And so the reason that it was vulnerable, like why this was a vulnerable thing and why I have a vulnerability hangover today, is that it's been a very long time since I've put myself out there in quite that way. I just went for it. And, like I said, my voice was starting to shut down like the old days. And I just went, I'm going. Sharing my stories and presuming that perhaps they might be interesting to someone, that's a vulnerable thing, right? Being willing, I used to play in a band and I loved playing in front of people, but this was a whole different situation, and I think I'm a different person now, right? And during the event, I felt, even though there was a lot of energy moving through my body, I felt really, really good. It felt like, oof, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, right? And a big part of that was just me bringing forth what is within me and honoring that, right? And so right afterwards, I was really kind of buzzy. What's going on over here? Oh. Right afterwards, I was really kind of buzzy. Oh, it's so weird because this thing's flipped. And I went out and walked around town. I'm in Quito, Ecuador currently, and just soaked up the city life and the people and the culture. And spent about 3 hours on the phone with a friend, just grounding in. And then today, though, oh my gosh. No, before today, what the feeling sense that I had when all was said and done yesterday, that sense of purpose, that like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, was reinforcing for me the importance of this quote that I shared. And the quote goes, "Bring forth what is within you, and what you bring forth will save you. Do not bring forth what is within you, and what you don't bring forth will destroy you." And the idea here is that when we can find a way to just express ourselves and be who we are and share that with the people in our lives or beyond, that we can create a sense of authenticity, a sense of purpose, a sense of clarity, and just be really present, right? And I firmly believe more and more as I travel this path, it's a piece from the Dharma path, that this is a really important message. And so today I'm really wobbly inside, you guys. And the reason for that is, and I think this is what, as I explore what is a vulnerability hangover, this is not the first time I felt this. But what happens is that, there's a lot of people in the world who aren't actually being who they want to be. They're like, I'd love to play guitar and sing, but they don't. There's stories, limiting beliefs that keep them from doing that. I want to go join the Peace Corps. That was something I wanted to do when I was younger, and I never did. Right? Excuse me, let me fix this. Okay. And so, and part of that comes from, there's like places inside us, stories, limiting beliefs, agreements that basically go, that's not safe, so you're not going to do it, right? There's a part of us that's afraid to expose ourselves. And so when you make what could be considered a defiant act against your subconscious and your domestication and programming from your culture, your upbringing, your being, your nervous system, your subconscious, your emotional body, your mental body is going to be a little quaky, a little shaky. I think one of the words I might use is a little raw, just like your nerves are a little on edge. I feel wobbly. And I think I lost about 3 hours today. I can't really account for it. And so I share this with you today primarily to give you, since this channel is new, it's primarily to give you a little glimpse into what it is that I have to say that I might be sharing on this channel. One is the music journey, one is my nomad journey, and the other is the spiritual journey, or what I've called the mystic journey. And that, Brene Brown's work, especially around vulnerability, is so, so, so important, because it's our fear of being vulnerable that keeps us from speaking up, that keeps us from asking for what we need, that keeps us from going, I just got to be me and being me. Back in the 70s, there was this postcard or a card or even a poster that was a whole sea of penguins, black and white. And then there was the one penguin standing on top of the heads of some, above all of them and going, I just got to be me. And I think he was black and white and red, or she was, right? And so I'm using this lens of talking about a vulnerability hangover and about being vulnerable as really as an opportunity to share with you a little bit of inspiration, and a little bit of teaching, wisdom teachings, just around being vulnerable doesn't mean that we just throw ourselves out there and go, come what may. That really being vulnerable means simply that we're willing to feel whatever it is we end up feeling as we step into a given situation, right? Yesterday, because there's parts of me that are like, we're not ready for you to be out there in the world again. And I'm like, yes, we are. Right? The vulnerability for me was to be willing to, despite the fact that my voice was closing down like it used to be back when that's a story for another time, that I felt really almost unpresent, and like there was a lot of energy moving through me, and I just channeled the one voice teacher I had. His name was Robert Fenwick, and the class was in Santa Cruz, Aptos, called Freeing the Natural Voice at community college there. And he says, it was more than nervousness. It really was, because of the agreements that I have around using my voice. But I just channeled it. And he says, nervousness is just extra energy you can do something with, right? And it worked. And it worked. And it's possible that I overdid it. It's possible. I don't know. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you today, is that, being vulnerable is just simply being willing to step into a situation and being willing to feel whatever comes from it. And that I firmly believe from my own experiences that it's our fear of vulnerability, which is we're not really afraid of being vulnerable. We're afraid of what we might feel when we step into that space. And this is really super important, because it's our level of discomfort with vulnerability that gums up the works in all of our relationships, be it primary family, be it significant other, be it really important friends. And This is a common condition, at least in America. I, I've traveled a lot. It's been a while. I don't have a lot of experience down here in South America enough to speak to vulnerability here. But I do find that people here are a lot more willing to go, hey, who are you? How are you doing? Right? So that's what I have to share with you today. And I'll have a link in the description for the celebration event. I hope you check it out, and I look forward to seeing any comments that you might want to share. All right, thank you. Bye now.